Welcome everyone to 3D Experience World 2022. My name is Don Glasky and I'm your host for this session, DraftSight for the AutoCAD user. A quick summary of today's session will be to see the ease of transition from AutoCAD to DraftSight, also show the overwhelming similarities between DraftSight and AutoCAD, and understand which version of DraftSight would best suit you or your users. Let's go over the bullet points of what we're going to talk about today. Understanding DraftSight's low learning curve, the user interface look and feel to AutoCAD, identical and alias commands and keyboard shortcuts, Auto Lisp and Visual Lisp compatibility and API support, and also support for other AutoCAD type tools inside DraftSight. The first thing we'll look at is DraftSight's low learning curve. I have a little comparison video here to show you with DraftSight and AutoCAD side by side of each other. As you can see here on the left, we have AutoCAD, and I'm going through what your options are for your pull down off of the icon. You have a save as, you have a save, import, export, publish, print, close, options you can get to as well through here. You can do batch plot, get to that from there, and your options that you want. You can go inside here, recent commands, or recent documents that are there. And then from here we go to DraftSight, where we have the same thing, new, we have a save as, we can export, we can see our sheet, we can publish to e-drawings, we can print, we can batch print from here as well, just like we can in AutoCAD. So the similarities are very, very much the same in between them. And then we go to options, we can go to your options there, but also we have recent documents here as well. And we kind of work our way up on the top there. You'll see in DraftSight we have your shortcut icons that are there, your toolbars. You can do save, you can do print, and save as, undo, redo. And if we move over to AutoCAD, we'll see that we have a save, we have a new, we have an open. This is in here as well. We also have a save as and a print, redo and undo are here as well. Very much similar. And we walk through the tabs, we can see we have for our home button, everything's very much similar. And we work our way over to DraftSight, you'll see things are very similar as well. We have a home tab with a line. We also have a modify. We have annotations. We have layers, just like we do inside AutoCAD. And then same thing for the insert button or insert tab. We can go there. We can see we have block creation. We can manage. We can attach, we can import PDF. The same thing is going to be very similar to the annotate or the insert tab here on DraftSight. So we have block, we have reference, we have component, block definition. We can do that here as well. Okay. We get to the annotate tab. I'm going to click on this annotate tab. We'll see between AutoCAD and DraftSight very similar to what we're doing here. We can dimension, do all that over here inside AutoCAD. We can do the same thing over in DraftSight. We can set our notes, we can set our font size, we can do dimensions, we can do tables, same thing that we do here for markup as well. When we get to the manage tab, of course, we're getting into some of the abilities to manage the actual document. So we can go inside here and customize the interface if we want to, just like we can inside there. We can also run script, we can do add-ins, we can do measure, smart calculator, that's all in here as well for buttons. On the view tab, we can do very much the same. We can control our UCS, we can do navigation bar, we also can do sheet manager, that's all inside here as well. We can do our coordinate system inside both that you see here as well. Then when we get to here, we can actually do a drawing tab as well. And we can see here's our name of our file. His name is there. We can add a sheet right there where the plus is, just like we can in AutoCAD. We can create a new drawing, just like we can over here in AutoCAD. We go here and create new. We go to layout, format setup, whatever we want to do, or go to new to create a new document. We can do that as well. Very, very similar. We have a model tab. We have a layout tab. Very similar to what we have in DraftSight. And also we have our icons that are down here as well for our ortho, and we'll see model and layout, very similar to that in DraftSight as it was in AutoCAD. And we look down here and we have our snap and our grid and ortho buttons down here as well. We also have our drawing scale that you just saw. A second area we're going to talk about today's session is the common look and feel of the toolbars and menus inside DraftSight as it compares to AutoCAD. So we'll see here I have DraftSight open. Okay, I have the different types of, here I can create a custom interface if I want to. I can create the classic default, which we have pull downs here, and we have toolbars that were classic view that we're used to inside AutoCAD. I can right click here and create all kinds of different toolbars that I want to turn on, and I can drop and drag them into certain locations that I want and lock them where I want them as well inside DraftSight. So here's a layer command toolbar. I can drop that wherever I want to. Sort that to the left side, up on top, move it over, however I want to inside here. So here's some of the buttons you just see, very similar to what you have inside AutoCAD. Our third area are identical and alias commands and identical keyboard shortcuts. So what DraftSight has, similar to AutoCAD, it has similar commands, but also alias commands. So this one here, if I type in the L key, notice that when we're in AutoCAD, we have the line command. I can draw a line and click on endpoints, click around, and go ahead and do that. Right click and click cancel. I can do the same thing inside DraftSight on the right hand side. I can hit the L button for a line or spell it out, whatever I want to do. And I have a line command. I can click on endpoints. These are activated, and I click there. Go ahead and click there, and I can right click and hit cancel, just like I did inside AutoCAD. If I want to delete, I can do that just like I can and do an erase inside DraftSight, and I can do the same thing over in AutoCAD. I can go here, the erase inside here. So what I was talking about duplicates is, if we look here, we can also go down and type in overkill, which is a very popular AutoCAD command, where we can, if lines are on top of lines, we can pick certain lines and delete those lines that we prefer to based on color, layer, whatever functionality we want to. So we got rid of those green ones. So if those are overlapping segments or deleted, that's overkill inside AutoCAD, very popular. If I type in overkill inside DraftSight, it says discard duplicates. So it's an alias. So I can type in discard duplicates or overkill. It'll know what I'm looking for. And we'll see here a very similar look where I can turn on what entities and how I want to define the properties that way. And go ahead, and now we notice we have overlapping segments that are discarded as well, just like you did inside AutoCAD. And right there is a quick teaser for similar commands inside SolidWorks, where I did a little mouse gesture there to save what I had. In this area, we're going to talk about AutoLisp, Visual Lisp, and compatibility with API support. So very similar to AutoLisp, they're all supported. I have AutoLisp in here from 1997 that I use for flatten and different ones like that you see here for flatten. So everything's on the XY plane. So you notice I type in flatten, it loads it, it runs it. I can also load it in my startup if I want to with a startup file, and it'll load that way as too. So I can go ahead and select my entities and make sure they're all flattened, so they're all on the X and Y plane. So they're not going off into space, into the Z plane. And right there I did a quick save, right? Just for mouse gestures. I can do that inside here as well. And also to reiterate, Visual Lisp and API support is available too inside DraftSight. So we're going to talk about batch printing. So other type of tools that are inside DraftSight that are in AutoCAD. So batch printing. So we can print a file, or also we can batch print. So I'll walk you through the similarities between the two. So we'll see on the left-hand side we have AutoCAD. We're going to batch print. We're going to say batch plot out here, and we're going to go here and we can pick different page setups. We can do to open to load a sheet. We also can go here to drill to a location that we're looking for. We also can select the certain ones that are inside here. We can do number of copies, plot stamp, create a list, do all that we want to here. If we go inside DraftSight, we go to print, we go to batch print. When we do that, we can do very similar. So we can pick the ones that are already loaded. We can also add files. We can add folders. We can import. We can save out as lists. And then we can also clear the list. And also we can do multiples if we want to. All right. So very similar. So like I've been teasing of the SolidWorks similarities, we'll go over more, but this is the one, the mouse gestures one, that can make everyone a little more efficient inside DraftSight. We can right click and we get our mouse gestures compatibility and functionality between when using DraftSight that maybe AutoCAD users aren't used to, but SolidWorks users are. Make you more efficient. Here's where we can set what we're looking for to do actually the mouse gestures. Here's the ones that are actually set. And we can modify these. We can do 4 or 8 mouse gestures. And we can turn them off too if we want to. We can disable them as well. But that's a nice tool that's available to everyone. As we get into more identical commands and keyboard shortcuts in DraftSight, you'll see here that I have listed as your F function buttons that are very identical to what they are inside AutoCAD. We'll see the F6 through F12 is available. That's your grid, your ortho, your snap. That's all on here as well. And also you have buttons at the bottom of your user interface where you can turn on ortho and turn off snap and whatever grid that you want to turn off down on the bottom as well. And also you'll see that you have 2 different colors here because now in 2022 DraftSight, now has a dark mode that is available for user interface. So I can keep it gray as the traditional menus or in user interface, or I can turn it to the dark mode that you see there. With more identical commands and keyboard shortcuts, so if we type in CL, this is where we get into the aliases. So if we type in CL inside DraftSight, which means clean or purge. So inside DraftSight, purge means clean. And I can type inside DraftSight purge or clean and I'll get the same functionality. So we'll see if I type in purge or clean, you'll see on the right hand side, you'll see that we get the functionality dialog box here that we can purge entities that we want to get rid of. Same thing I mentioned a little earlier, erase equals delete. So I can either type in erase or click or hit delete or type in delete. It'll come up as the erase command. Same thing with your UCS. We'll get more on that. Split function is very similar to what the break function is inside AutoCAD. AutoCAD, you wanted to break one line into 2 lines. You could type in break and pick a point, and that would make those lines 2 lines instead of 1 line. The same thing for split, which is more of a SolidWorks command, but I can type in again because of the alias split or break and get the same functionality. LI for list, you get all the SP for spell check. You get all the various similarities in between the 2. Also, you get O for offset and rotate for RO, TR trim. You can also do extend, and your layer commands are very similar, and your note commands are the same as well. And we get more into some more of these, and these are more for your reference, just to kind of look in and kind of understand. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what that is. And go back to later as well, is you see that you also have rectangle, REC for rectangle, or you can type it all out. It does have a filter command where it does filter as much as you type, and you can go ahead and select that as well. Also S for stretch and SC for scale, and of course X for explode. Here's some of the shortcut keywords when we want to do a pan. We can hit P and then hit enter and we can pan. And then for zoom window, we can type in ZW, hit Z, then enter, then W, and then enter. Very similar, exactly the same inside AutoCAD. Also, we can zoom extents, so we can hit Z and hit E for zoom extents and enter. And zoom previous, we can also do that as well. Also, when we get into identical layer commands, these are our keyboard shortcuts. We also have the menus as well. So if you type in any of these, you're going to get what you're looking for. I'm just bringing them up here to show them to you. I'm not going to read them all off, but I'm just showing to you what you have here for your layer commands for later for you to reference. Also, when you want to right click, you can right click and you can get different ESAP settings. You can hold the shift key down. You can specify which toolbars you're looking for to be shown. This functionality can be changed if you want to change it when you right click. You want something else to come up, you can change that if you'd like to as well. Like I mentioned earlier in the videos, overkill is in there, where I type in overkill, which equals discard duplicates inside DraftSight. This functionality is in there, and if I type in again discard or overkill, discard duplicates or overkill, it'll come up with that functionality I'm looking for. If I want to load it on a Lisp, so I can also have it in my start Lisp routine as well. So when I open up the program, it loads all my auto Lisps as well. I just have to put them in my start file, and it'll load those. But if I want to actually pick them, I can go to load, and there's a button as well from the pull down. There's a button as well to load applications as well when you're using the other format of the user interface. But I go here and go to flatten, and like I said, I think this one is supported from, I think it's 1997. This flatten the Lisp is. So it goes back quite a ways. So here I'm showing the classic toolbar profile. This is the classic that everyone's used to with the pull-down menus. You can load up your toolbars if you want to do that, if that's what your choice is. But we also have the ribbon support as well. But here on the classic toolbar, we'll see we have where we can right click, we can bring up our toolbars, we can go ahead and lock the rotation, lock the location for those that once we get them up. But here we can bring in internet menus we want, drop and drag, like I was showing in that video earlier, to however you want to. So if you're a classic person that you like your user interface set up this way, you can have that as well. You also can customize and actually make buttons and toolbars as well. So right here, I want to show you, we can add a command. So we could go ahead and go to toolbars, and we can actually add a button. We can customize and do different things that we'd like to do. So if we kind of right click here, go to customize, we can add a button. So it's fully customizable. And then once we're in here, we can go ahead and do shortcut keys as well. We can add shortcut key and override certain ones that we want to if we want to control that way. Okay. Again, showing the aliases, where we have aliases here. So this is where your aliases are at for what you see here. So if you notice, we have drafting options. Here's the different aliases that we have. We can type in. We also can add our own aliases or change them if we want to, override the existing. If we choose to do so, I'm just showing an alias here for purge and clean. But this is where you would find them under your user preferences and aliases. Okay, batch printing. This is just showing the different locations where we can go to batch printing. We can go to batch print here under the icon and come down to print and do batch print. We also can go on the bottom right-hand corner of your user interface and do batch print as well. We also can go into the pull-down option if we have our user interface set up as the pull-down menus for the classic. We can do batch print from here, and we also can do it from the icon that's up here that you see up there as well. And of course, when we get inside here, we can do add files. We can do all very similar things that we can do inside, like I showed you earlier in the video. Okay. DraftSight does support alternate versions of DWG and DXF. We can set a default to save, open and do a save to whatever we want to. So if you look here, we can save to 2018. We can save to whatever we look for, 2022. We can save to that as a default, or when we do a file save as, we can override that and save it back to an earlier version as well. We can all go back all the way to R12, which is 95, I would say, if I can remember right, 1995. So we can save that. And also it does DXF and DWT, which are our template files as well. Okay. We also can reuse AutoCAD templates or locate your templates in that location, so I can repoint. So if you look here, I'm just pointing to my AutoCAD location for while I'm in DraftSight to point to my templates. Okay. Or you can create a new location, whatever you want to do. DraftSight does create its own template location when you install the software, but you can repoint it if you want to that, or create your own location as well. Getting back to the classic pull downs, here's what they look like inside DraftSight. Okay, and then we have the ribbon style as well. We have this ribbon style where we have ribbons, just like you're used to. We also can create a custom one too. That was introduced in 2016, but you can create your own custom one and add what you care to add. We have the right-click menu. By default, we have right-click, and we have copy clipboard, repeat command. We have all that kind of stuff that's in here. That's by default. And we go to drafting options and change that to if we want to do something different when we right-click. Okay, so here's the right-click, and then if we hold the shift button down and do right mouse button click, we go to our endpoints and our entities for our snaps to pick one, override or pick one here that's maybe not as a default. Or then I can go into eSnaps as well down here and then unselect or reselect what I want for defaults to be on or turn them off. Okay. And this is where we're going to get into some options and systems that you can do in your system options of different things, just so you know where you can go and change them. Of course, you can change just about anything that's there. So just gives you an idea where to go to get it. And if you take a look over here on the left, it'll let you know, options. This is system options. So just like inside SolidWorks, this is a system option. So not specific to the file type or the actual file you have open, but every time I go into my session, it's going to make my model background black. Okay. Versus my sheet background. Sheet background is usually set at default as white that you have here, but this is where you can go and change it in your session, inside your DraftSight. So here we have the cursor display as well as under system options under graphics area. Normally they're set at 5, which is 5%, so they're smaller, but I like the 100% all the way across. Okay, so that's where you can change that. So the default is 5%, so it looks just like a little cross here. But I like mine going all the way up and all the way across. Here's your automatic save file location. This is under your system options as well. This is where you can change this. This is where it will put it by default. If you look here, your username, app data, local, temp, DraftSight, autosave. That's where it'll put it. If we do autosave backups, you can tell it every 10 minutes, enable autosave or disable it. And also what you can do is keep original format as well, or you can change this location here. And I think 10 minutes is the default save time limit that's set up out of the box. So here your reverse zoom wheel is not checked by default. So this just to show you if you wanted to switch this, you could switch this. And if you switch this, you would make it like SolidWorks. Think of it that way. You would make it like SolidWorks. If you leave it alone, it'll be AutoCAD normal. And then remember, SolidWorks is opposite of what AutoCAD normal is. All right? But that's where you can go change it if you want to. Coordinate systems, this is where we can turn these on. These are in our drawing settings. We can display or not display that if we choose to do so. But this is where we can turn the coordinate system on. Some are a fan of it and some aren't, but that's where you can change it. All right. Options and settings, this is where we can change our scale factor. We can go under drafting styles. We can change the scale factor. This is where we would change it. In your drawing settings here for units precision, this is where we can actually change this as well. In this location, our drawing centers and our unit system. Okay, just showing you where this stuff is at. So here, if we wanted to add a custom keyboard shortcut, this is how we would do it. We could go and we go into customize, right click, go into customize. We go to keyboard. We're going to create a keyboard shortcut. The first thing I'm going to do is click on the plus button here with my mouse button. And then the second one I'm going to do is hit my F12 button. And it's going to put F12 here. And then what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to put in some kind of command. So what I'm going to do over here, when this comes open, this will fly out. And I can search through whatever I want, through all my file customizations, and then search with a filter. And I'm going to type in smart for the smart calculator. I'm going to left mouse button click and drag that into this location. So put smart calculator there, and then down at the bottom of this dialog box, there's an apply button that I want to click. I click that, and the next time I hit F12, my smart calculator will come up, as you see here. And remember, your smart calculator is QC is your keyboard shortcut for that, or now in my situation, that or F12. Okay, here's a standard calculator, just to show you. Some people ask what that is, but we have that one, and we also have this one, the smart calculator, and also the standard calculator was used to, that we see here. Just what I call a DraftSight quick reference, just some miscellaneous things I like to mention, based on what we were talking about here in this session. Is if we hold our shift key down, that'll override the ortho, just like we're inside SOLIDWORKS inside of a sketch, and we want to override any type of commands that are in there. So if we don't want a line to be vertical or horizontal, we can hold the shift key down and it'll override that, so it won't snap to horizontal or vertical. Same thing here inside DraftSight. We can override those based on if I have the ortho on, it'll allow me to override that and put an angled line on if I choose to do so. The other thing is same keyboard shortcuts as AutoCAD. I just want to reiterate that. If I click the C key, that'll close off a sketch. So if I'm drawing a rectangle or whatever I'm drawing, a box, and I hit the C, that'll close off the sketch to the last endpoint. That's what I'm looking to do. Also, you can export files as JPEG, PDF, PNG, and SVG files outside of DraftSight. You also can do a save as to a JPEG, PDF, PNG, SLD, SVG, TIF, a TIFF file, and also an STL file format. We can also attach image files, which are BMP bitmaps, so we can also do GIFs, JPEGs, PNGs, TIFF, and TIFF files as well. And the other little shortcut is your F4 button that a lot of SOLIDWORKS people would be used to, which is our R button, which is for recent documents. But your F4 button inside of DraftSight allows you to do recent documents, so by default. So if I hit F4, I get recent documents that way. So if we see here and I go to here and I hit my F4 button, I get my recent documents. And now I'd like to talk to you about DraftSight Portfolio. DraftSight is just not one product. It's an entire portfolio of solutions to meet your needs. We have DraftSight Professional, DraftSight Enterprise, which is your 2D workhorse, which is similar to AutoCAD Lite. Then we have DraftSight Premium and DraftSight Enterprise Plus, which gives you capabilities of 2D constraints and 3D DWGs. Additionally, DraftSight Enterprise and Enterprise Plus is available as a network license to allow you multiple team members to share licenses if they aren't using them all at one time. Then if you come to 3D Experience DraftSight, which is a combined solution of DraftSight with the power of the 3D Experience platform. And finally, when we talk about DraftSight, I'd like to address where to go from here with DraftSight. I just want to take a few minutes to help you decide on what your journey is for learning more about DraftSight. First one, obviously, is a sign up for more session at 3D Experience World related to DraftSight. We have 17 sessions this year, including the last one, which is a live Q&A session. I'll be on that one as well, so I hope to see you there. Another great resource is the DraftSight website. It has installation, implementation guides, and other resources. The DraftSight YouTube channel also has great content for your learning journey. If you're new to DraftSight and are looking for more tutorials to get up in speed, start there. They'll get you going very quickly. Believe it or not, a lot of our questions actually can be found in the help area inside DraftSight. Just wanted to point out by clicking anywhere on the question mark that you find in the DraftSight, and also a great way to find information as well. Where you can find this information, if I go here and I go to options, anytime in the options, I always have a help button down here wherever I'm at. I can hit help and then search inside the contents, the favorites, anything inside here is a great tool to search as well. If I minimize this, and if I'm in the pull down, this is our classic look, but if I go to the pull down with the classic, I can go to help right here and go to help. All right. So where do we go from here? I wanted to just take a few minutes to help you decide what's next on your learning journey. The first one is obviously sign up for more sessions of 3D Experience World. We have 17 sessions, including our last one, which will be a panel of live Q&A. I hope to see you there. In addition, there is a dedicated swim community for the breakout sessions. If you haven't engaged in the swim communities, it's a great resource to ask questions. There is a dedicated DraftSight community as well. You can go to swim.3ds.com to get to them. Another great resource is the DraftSight website. It has installation and implementation guides and other resources. The DraftSight YouTube channel also has great items to learn on your journey. If you are new to DraftSight and you're looking for tutorials to get you up to speed quickly, I would start there. We get asked many questions in the help. Wanted to point out that clicking the question mark in the DraftSight and doing a search is a great way to start to find out more information. Have you joined the DraftSight swim community yet? This can be found in the 3D Experience platform. It is a great way to throw out questions, ask how to, get a technical support from the worldwide DraftSight community. The last thing is we have a live Zoom session that you can hop over to if you want to talk to me and my colleagues. Please type in the link and join us for a Q&A session.